Are you doing what everyone told you to do after 75, taking daily walks, yet still feeling weaker, stiffer, and more unsteady each year? What if the very habit you believe is protecting your joints, bones and balance is no longer enough to keep you independent? And what if there's a far more powerful, science-backed approach that orthopedic surgeons wish more seniors knew, but almost no one is talking about? Stay with me, because today I'm going to explain why walking alone quietly stops working after a certain age, what serious problem this creates inside your body, and what you must start doing instead if you want to protect your mobility, strength and freedom in your late 70s, 80s, and beyond. Here's the problem. Walking is often promoted as the perfect exercise for older adults. It's gentle, accessible, and safe. And for decades it truly is one of the best habits you can have. But after about age 75, your body changes in ways that walking simply cannot address anymore. Muscle fibers shrink faster, bone density drops more aggressively, joint cartilage thins, balance reflexes slow down. And the most dangerous change of all, your fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones that stop you from falling, begin to disappear if they are not challenged. Walking does not challenge them. This is where many well-meaning seniors get trapped. They walk more, not realizing that their legs are still getting weaker. They walk every day, yet their grip strength declines. They walk faithfully, but their posture collapses forward. They walk, but one small trip on a rug turns into a hip fracture, a hospital stay, and a loss of independence. From an orthopedic perspective, this is not bad luck. This is predictable physiology. Walking is a forward, repetitive, low-resistance movement. It maintains circulation, supports heart health, and keeps joints lubricated. But it does not signal your body to rebuild muscle, strengthen bones, or sharpen balance reactions once aging accelerates. After 75, your body requires a different message. If it doesn't receive that message, it begins a quiet, shutdown process called functional decline. Now here's the hard truth most people never hear. Falls, not heart attacks, are one of the leading reasons adults over 75 lose independence. And falls are not caused by lack of walking. They're caused by lack of strength, lack of power, and lack of stability. Walking trains endurance. It does not train power, and power is what saves you when you stumble. So if walking isn't enough anymore, what should you do instead? The solution is not extreme workouts, gym intimidation, or punishing routines. The solution is targeted, strategic movement that sends a very specific signal to your bones, muscles, and nervous system, a signal that says, I still need strength, I still need balance, I still need stability. When you give your body that signal, even after 75, it responds. That is not motivation, that is biology. Orthopedic research consistently shows that seniors who engage in gentle resistance-based movement, controlled balance challenges, and joint loading exercises dramatically reduce fracture risk, improve posture, and regain confidence in daily life. And no, this does not mean lifting heavy weights or running. It means using your own body weight, slow, controlled tension, and intentional movements that wake up dormant muscle fibers. Here's something fascinating. Your muscles do not age because of time alone. They age because of underuse. The moment a muscle stops being challenged, the brain begins to disconnect from it. This is why legs feel weak even when there's no pain. This is why standing up from a chair suddenly feels harder. Walking doesn't reverse this disconnection, but specific, strength-focused movements do. There's also the bone issue. Bones strengthen in response to load. Not pounding, not pain, load. Walking creates very little bone-loading stimulus after decades of repetition. Your skeleton adapts and says, I've seen this before. But when you apply gentle resistance, pressing, pushing, standing with control, you stimulate bone cells to hold on to density. This is crucial after 75, when fractures heal slower and consequences are far more serious. And let's talk about balance. Balance is not something you either have or don't have. It is a trainable skill governed by the nervous system. If you never challenge your balance in a safe, controlled way, your reflexes dull. Walking on flat ground doesn't train balance. But standing on one leg while holding support, shifting weight slowly or rising from the floor teaches your brain how to protect you when life throws the unexpected. Now imagine combining all of this, strength, bone support, balance, and joint protection, into a simple daily approach that takes less time than a long walk and delivers far greater protection. This is where everything changes. Because once you understand what your body actually needs after 75, you stop exercising out of habit and start moving with purpose. Think about this for a moment. Two people are both 78 years old. They both walk every single day. One of them moves confidently, stands tall, gets up from the floor without fear, and hasn't fallen in years. The other shuffles, grips furniture for support, avoids stairs, and lives with a constant fear of falling. Same age, same habit, very different outcomes. The difference isn't genetics. It isn't luck. It's how their muscles, joints, and nervous systems are being challenged, or not challenged, by their daily movement. From an orthopedic standpoint, this difference becomes painfully obvious in clinics and hospitals. Surgeons see patients who say, "But doctor, I walk every day," and yet they're there with knee degeneration, spinal compression, shoulder weakness, or a fractured hip from a minor stumble. Walking kept them moving, but it didn't keep them strong. And strength is the currency of independence after 75. Here's what walking alone quietly fails to do. It does not rebuild muscle tissue. After your mid-70s, muscle loss accelerates sharply in a process known as sarcopenia. You can lose up to 1% of muscle mass per year, or more, if those muscles are not actively engaged against resistance. Walking uses the same limited muscle fibers over and over at the same intensity, day after day. Your body adapts, then stops improving. Worse, it begins to sacrifice unused muscle, because maintaining it costs energy. That loss doesn't happen evenly. It hits the hips, thighs, glutes, and core first, the exact muscles that protect your knees, stabilize your spine, and keep you upright when you trip. That's why someone can still walk around the block, but struggle to rise from a chair. It's why stairs become intimidating. It's why balance feels off, even when nothing hurts. These are not signs of aging. They are signs of understimulation. Orthopedic surgeons often describe falls as failure of force. When you stumble, your body has milliseconds to generate force through your legs and hips to correct yourself. If that force isn't there, down you go. Walking does not train force, it trains repetition. After 75, repetition without force is not protection. It's a false sense of security. Then there's the joint issue. Many people believe joints wear out because of age. In reality, joints wear out because of poor muscle support. Muscles act like shock absorbers. When they weaken, joints take the load. Knees collapse inward, hips lose alignment, the spine compresses. Walking on weak muscles actually increases joint stress over time. This is why some seniors notice more knee or back pain despite walking more than ever. Now let's talk about posture, because this is something almost no one connects to walking. After 75, posture often collapses forward. The head drifts ahead of the shoulders, the upper back rounds, the hips stop fully extending. Walking in this posture reinforces it. Every step trains the body to stay folded. This forward collapse shifts pressure onto the knees, compresses the spine, and interferes with balance. It also affects breathing and circulation, which further weakens the body. What corrects posture is not walking, it's strengthening the muscles that hold you upright. The upper back, the glutes, the deep core muscles. When these muscles wake up, posture improves almost automatically. Balance improves. Pain often decreases. And walking suddenly feels easier, even though walking itself wasn't the fix. Another critical issue is bone density. Bones are living tissue. They respond to stress. But they respond specifically to vertical load and resistance. Walking produces very little stimulus. For bones that have already adapted to it for decades. That's why many people who walk daily still develop osteoporosis. Bones need a reason to stay dense. They need gentle pressure, controlled loading, and muscular tension pulling on them. Without that, they quietly thin. This is why orthopedic surgeons emphasize fall prevention over step counts in older adults. A strong body can tolerate a misstep. A weak body cannot. And here's the hopeful part. This decline is not permanent. Even after 75, muscles respond to resistance. Bones respond to load. The nervous system responds to balance challenges. The body is far more adaptable than most people believe. But the approach must change. Instead of asking, "How far did I walk today?" the better question becomes, "Did I challenge my muscles today? Did I load my bones? Did I wake up my balance?" This shift in mindset is everything, because once you understand this, movement becomes medicine instead of routine. And this leads us to the most important question of all. What kind of movement does an aging body actually need to send these powerful signals, without pain, without risk, and without overwhelming effort? How do you replace endless walking with something that truly protects your joints, strengthens your bones, and restores confidence in your body? Now let's bring everything together, because this is where the real transformation happens. If walking isn't enough after 75, the goal is not to abandon it completely. Walking still has value for circulation, mood, digestion, and mental clarity. But it must stop being the foundation of your movement. Instead, it becomes the background. The foundation must shift to movements that rebuild what aging quietly takes away. The body after 75 needs three things above all else: strength to generate force, stability to control movement, and confidence from knowing the body will respond when challenged. These are not abstract ideas. They are physical qualities that can be trained safely, gently, and effectively, even if you haven't exercised in years. Let's start with strength, because this is the anchor of everything. Strength does not mean lifting heavy weights or straining. Strength means teaching your muscles to contract against resistance again. The safest and most effective way to do this later in life is through slow, controlled, resistance-based movements, using your own body weight or light external resistance. When you stand up from a chair slowly and sit back down with control, you are telling your legs, hips, and core that they are still needed. When you press your hands into a wall or countertop and gently push, your upper body wakes up. When you hold tension for a few seconds, muscles respond by rebuilding fibers that protect joints. What makes this powerful is not intensity, it's intention. Slow movements create deep muscle activation without joint strain. They re-establish communication between your brain and muscles. This is why people often feel stronger within weeks, even before muscles visibly change. The nervous system is reconnecting. Next comes stability. Stability is what keeps you safe in the real world. It's what allows you to turn quickly, step sideways, or recover from a stumble. Stability training does not require standing on dangerous surfaces or closing your eyes. It begins with simple weight shifts, controlled single-leg support while holding on to something stable, and learning how to distribute your weight evenly through your feet. These movements sharpen reflexes and strengthen the small stabilizing muscles around the ankles, knees, and hips, the very muscles that prevent falls. What's remarkable is how quickly balance improves when it's trained intentionally. Many seniors believe balance loss is permanent. It isn't. It's often just neglected. The brain loves balance challenges. Give it the right stimulus, and it adapts fast. Then there's bone support. Every time a muscle contracts and pulls on bone, it sends a message to maintain density. Standing tall, pressing through your legs, and applying gentle, downward force through the skeleton creates this message. These are not high-impact actions. They are controlled, grounded movements. Over time, this helps slow bone loss and can improve bone strength, reducing fracture risk dramatically. Joint protection comes as a natural result. Strong muscles absorb shock. Stable joints move through proper alignment. Pain often decreases, not because the joint healed, but because the load is being shared correctly again. Knees feel safer, hips feel more secure. The spine feels supported instead of compressed. Now let's talk about confidence, because this may be the most overlooked benefit. Fear of falling changes how people move. It causes stiffness, hesitation, and shallow steps. Ironically, this fear increases fall risk. When you train strength and stability, confidence returns. You move more naturally. You trust your body again. That trust is protective. Here's how this all fits into daily life. Instead of long walks being your primary activity, you prioritize short sessions of purposeful movement first. 10 to 20 minutes of slow, controlled strength and balance work sends a powerful signal to your body. Walking then becomes easier, safer, and more enjoyable. You walk because you can. Not because you're trying to hold on to health with repetition alone. Orthopedic surgeons consistently see better outcomes in patients who maintain strength than those who only stay active. Strong patients recover faster from injuries. They maintain independence longer. They avoid surgeries that could have been prevented. This is not theory. This is what shows up in real bodies every day. And here's the most important message of all. It is never too late to start. The body does not check your birth certificate before responding. It checks demand. Give it the right demand, and it responds at 75, at 85, even beyond. So if you've been walking faithfully but feeling weaker, more unstable, or more cautious, understand this: you didn't fail. You were simply given incomplete advice. Walking kept you moving. Now it's time to give your body what it truly needs to stay strong, steady, and independent for the years ahead. This is how you move forward, not just longer, but stronger.